Welcome to Redefining Balance for Working Moms podcast, where we believe life balance is possible. Yes, even for you. You might just have to redefine what it looks like for yourself. I'm your host, fellow working mom, and founder of Your Life Rocks, Jenny Stemmerman. Each week, I'll bring you practical, real-life tips to help you focus on the things that matter most in life and be the best version of yourself in every area that God has called you to. Ready to redefine what balance looks like for you in your life? Let's go. Hey there, I am so excited that you're here to hang out with me today because today we are doing a simulcast both on YouTube and on our podcast, Redefining Balance for Working Christian Moms. Now, we on the podcast are finishing up a series all about how to help you be a better mom. And if you are watching on YouTube and you have not yet subscribed to the podcast, I'm going to link to it down below so that you can do that and catch the entire series over there. And if you're listening on the podcast, I hope that you jump over to YouTube. You can find the link in the description for this podcast episode so that you can watch other videos and get more tips and inspiration to create balance in your life as a working Christian mom. Now, today we are talking all about how to bond with older kids. Now, my kids are soon to be 11 and 15, which blows my mind that we are already there. And, you know, as they've grown up, my time that I spend with them and the way that I bond with them is very different than when they were little. And this conversation has come up asking questions about what to do when your kids just close the door to their bedroom and they don't want to come hang out with you anymore. And it is a change for us to go through as moms. And so I thought it would be important for us to talk about it. I can kind of share with you some tips that has worked well for me and kind of walk you through some guidelines of things I have learned from other experts, because certainly I am not a parenting expert by any stretch of the imagination, but giving you some tips on how you can navigate these waters of change as your kids get older and how you can make the best of your time spent with them so that you can be making memories, because ultimately that's what it's about. I mean, the fact that my older son, my very first baby, is going to be turning 15. He's going to be getting his driver's permit. He will be a legal adult in 3 short years. Now, when I think about like where we were 3 years ago, it feels like it was yesterday. And I know when he turns 18, I'm going to feel the exact same way about him being 15. So it's important that we make memories while we can, but also give ourselves a little bit of grace and not get too stressed out about it. And we're going to talk about that here a little bit later on. Because so much of what we're going to be talking about, although I'm going to give you some practical tips, a lot of it is mindset based. It's all things that really we need to be thinking about and how we can really capture the thoughts that are going through our mind and how we can make the most of those for the most positive outcome. Now, when our kids were little, right, they wanted us to play all the time. Maybe if you had girls, then it was playing with dolls or other toys. My kids are boys, and so it was always Legos or make-believe or cars or whatever it was. But it always involved getting on the floor and playing with them. And there were times I really, really enjoyed that. And then there were other times where I really didn't want to, but they asked. And so, of course, I would do it. And when we'd go out to places, it was places like Chuck E. Cheese or the park or, you know, places that, quite frankly, if I didn't have kids, I would not be going there. It's not things that interest me. And while I cherish those memories with my kids, I love that they're getting older and we can actually do things we both enjoy. And this is where bonding truly comes into play. And going back to the mindset part, this is what makes it kind of awesome when your kids start to get a little bit older. And I think it's important that we get excited about that change and get excited about the different things that we can do with them, because it's really easy to just grieve that they're no longer littles. It's easy to grieve that they're growing up way too fast and get stuck in that mindset. But when we get stuck in that mindset, we are robbing ourselves of the beauty and glory that is the age that they are right now, today, and how we can really maximize on it. I don't know about you, but if I could go back in time, I would probably do things a little bit differently than I did when they were little. And I don't want to feel that same way about now, like the period of time that they are now and the age that they are now. I'm sure I will. But, I like to think that if I'm just really intentional about it right now and I really am just trying to do my very best, that I can give myself enough grace to, forgive myself for maybe some of the things that I wish I would have done, right? Now, if you're listening on the podcast, before we get to the practical tips that I have for you on things that you can be doing to bond with your older kids, I want to first let you know about some exciting things we have coming up in the Life Balance membership. Now, if you are new to Your Life Rocks and you've not heard me talk before about Life Balance membership, it is a monthly subscription that gives you courses, tools, planning, resources, all kinds of great things to help you take the work that we're talking about on the podcast and here on the YouTube channel a little bit deeper. Now, the backbone of Life Balance membership is the Life Balance system. I always say balance is possible with 3 different things. Number 1 is God as that first filter on everything in your life. Number 2 is community. And number 3 are systems. And inside Life Balance membership, we teach you all of the systems, mostly the Life Balance system, which is a 90-day system that you can follow to help you create more balance and achieve goals in all 8 areas of life that we teach. And we're going to be kicking off a new 90-day session starting in April. Now, when you join in March, it's a great opportunity for you to jump in and get started with courses like Clear the Chaos, which is a 7-day audio course that helps you redefine balance and get immediate results to the chaos around you in just 7 days. It's also a great time to get started in the Setting Goals in God's Will Bible study that we have, as well as setting up a strong morning routine, which we have courses for and a tool inside the Your Life Rocks app. And then you'll be ready for the workshops that we do towards the end of March to help you set goals and get started strong on the second 90-day sprint of 2020. You can learn more by clicking the link below or by going to lifebalancemembership.com. All right, now let's get into these practical tips that we have and helping you find activities that will help you bond with your older kids. Now, the first thing I think it's important to do is to spend some time just journaling and writing. And this is why we talk about morning routines, because this is when you have time to do these kind of exercises, is when you're having that strong morning routine. Now, you might also find time during your lunch hour or at night after the kids go to bed or whenever it works for you. But I highly encourage that you have margin somewhere in your week, somewhere in your day where you can be a little bit more intentional. Because when you choose to live a life of intention, it's going to require you to set aside some time and plan ahead so that you can be intentional. You don't just magically become intentional. You have to be intentional about your time so you can be intentional about your actions. So when you have that time to be intentional, bring out your journal and just start writing all of the things that your kids are interested in. What things do they like to do for hobbies? What things do they like to research or look into or to learn about or to do? Now, once you have that pretty exhaustive list, you can look at it and say, what of these things even slightly interest me? Now, obviously, that list is not going to be 100% alignment with the things that you enjoy to do because let's face it, they're not you, but hopefully you've influenced them at some point in their life. So some of those things you might enjoy doing as well. Now, some of the things, so for example, my older son, he really enjoys history. I enjoy history. So that's one of the things that we have in common that we can go and do. We also have a lot of the same interest in the foods that we like, which gives us a great opportunity to try out a new sushi restaurant whenever we see one. Now, I'm going to cut away from the practical here and go to the mindset just for a minute, because sometimes as a working mom, and I know this is so true for me, when people ask me, so what do you like to do for fun? Crickets. What do I like to do for fun? I raise my kids and I work. I take care of the house. I don't know. I don't know what I like to do for fun. So this might be an exercise for you to really just give yourself some permission to think about yourself. Because this, my friends, is one of the beautiful, glorious things about your kids getting older. They don't need you as much as they used to. So you actually have some free time for you to hang out with your friends, to find out new hobbies and do something for yourself that you like to enjoy versus going to the park every single Saturday. So there's that. There is a silver lining to this cloud of our kids no longer being littles. And the more we focus on that, the more great it's going to be. So if you struggle to think about the things that you like, this is an opportunity for you to give yourself some grace, give yourself some freedom to maybe try some things that used to be fun for you that you don't know if you like anymore. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. You don't know until you try. So as you are looking at the list of the things that they enjoy, you're looking at the things of the list that you enjoy, what of those things intersect, and then start to think about all of the new and exciting things that you can do to bring those two things together. Now, here's one tip for you, and this is something that kind of relates to what I do in my career, but experiences are what bind people together. Experiences are what create memories. When you think about this, when you go through an experience that creates an emotional high or an emotional low, that emotion roller coaster is what ties deep into your memory bank. That's what creates experiences that form who we are as people and the way that we view the world. And one of the things that I think is really, really important is that we are constantly doing that for ourselves as a positive stress point. One, it's really good for our brains. And two, whenever we're doing it with other people, it's really good for a relationship connection. And I don't know about you, but I want to have a strong relationship connection with my kids as they're getting older and becoming adults, because I kind of want them to come back home for Christmas and holidays and want to spend time with me because I want to spend time with them. So think about the experiences that you can do where those lists kind of come together to be able to create some of those experiences. So I mentioned my son likes history. I like history. So what things can we do that might be new for both of us? So it's going to create that emotional experience, right? Of, I don't know what's going on, and this could be a really fun thing, or it might not be a very fun thing. But I thought it would be really cool for us to find some reenactments, some history reenactments, and go to those places, or to travel to places that have a rich history background, like Washington, D.C., or places like that as family vacations, because it's something we're both interested in. So as we're planning the trip, we can talk about the things that we want to go see, the things that are important to us, and it will allow us to bond on a different level. Now, oftentimes we are talking about balance for the season that you're in. Now, sometimes our seasons are shorter, sometimes our seasons are longer, and sometimes our seasons might have to do with what's going on at work. A lot of times our seasons have to do with the age of our kids. So what balance might look like for a mom of a newborn is very, very different than what balance is going to look like for a mom of a 4-year-old or of a 10-year-old or as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, teenagers, right? When your kids are teens and preteens, your balance is going to be very different than it was when they were toddlers. And so I think it's important that every time we have these new seasons, whether it has to do with parenting or career or whatever it might be, that we kind of re-ask ourselves, what is balance to me right now? How am I defining what balance looks like in the current season that I'm in? And when your kids are a little older, this is where I said that positive mindset is key, because your balance is going to be very different. This is going to allow you time to go on more date nights without having to try to find a babysitter. My husband and I, if we want to go on a date night, we can just go. We don't have to find a babysitter because my older son can babysit the younger one, and all is good. All is right with the world, right? It's amazing. If I want to go hang out with my friends, I can, and I don't have to worry about play dates or all of the other things, right? You can really start to live your life in a completely different way because let's face it, a lot of the time, your kids are going to be with their friends. And I think it's important that when you have those boundaries around when it's time to be with your friends and when it's time to be time with the family, as long as you are always having that time with the family, when they want to be with their friends, let that be your time to do the things that you want to do. Pursue those passions that maybe you don't even know what they are yet, but think about what they are. Pray for God to lay those ideas on your heart and onto your mind so you can figure out what they are and start to do them for yourself. Now, I do have 3 final tips for you in helping you bond with your older kids, and I'm going to get to those in a minute, but first I want to recap the things that we talked about. So number 1, make a list of the things that your kids enjoy doing. Number 2, make a list of the things that you enjoy doing, or if you can't make a list of the things you enjoy doing, just look at their list and say, what does not seem super boring on this list? What on this list would I maybe enjoy doing or kind of enjoy doing, and start there. Explore new things that you might enjoy. Give yourself permission to try new things. And with that, actually, let me just add in a little thing here. When we're talking about giving yourself permission to try new things, if you try something once and you don't like it, what do you tell your kids when they try like a vegetable for the first time and they don't like it? You're going to keep reintroducing it, right? Or try different ways of cooking it to see if they maybe like it this way versus that way. Have you ever eaten a raw Brussels sprout? Not very tasty. Have you ever roasted Brussels sprouts with bacon? Amazing, right? So really think about those different things that you can try. For example, my kids love to play video games. I am not very good at it. I don't like it. There's not a lot of video games that I enjoy. However, every once in a while when I see a game that's think, oh, that looks kind of fun, I'll give it a try. And I have one video game that I like to play. And so if the kids are like, let's play video games, Mom, I will say, can we play my video game? And most of the time they say yes. Sometimes they're like, I don't want to play that. And then I'll say, well, I don't want to play the other games. So if you want to play video games with me, we're going to play this game. And most of the time they will play that game with me because they just want to play video games and we want to spend time together. So why not? But find different things that you can do. Don't give up too easily because you never know what variation of a new opportunity might just be your thing. And of course, keep an eye on your mindset as you're going through all of these things. Keep it positive, keep it focused on what this new life looks like for you, of having some more freedom to really explore a different definition of balance for you. Now, the 3 final tips that I have for you, if you take nothing else away from this, if you're like, I don't have time to make a list, I don't know when I'm going to have time to focus on this. If you're in the Life Balance membership and you're doing the Life Balance course, you know exactly when you're going to be able to focus on this and you can move that mountain. But I did want to give you 3 tips of things that you can apply pretty much right away and start to make some traction in this. Now, this first tip is something that I have learned from experts that I've had on the podcast, and it's something that we all kind of know, but there's a difference between knowing and doing, and this is listen more than you talk. You know, as parents, especially when our kids are little, we ask them a lot of questions and we talk a lot because we're trying to build up their language skills. But as they get older, it's important for us to start to close our mouth more and open our ears a little bit more and listen to them. Because when we can listen to them without judgment and we can listen to them with curiosity, we have a better chance of having empathy and understanding our kids and where they're coming from. And the more information we can gather, the less information we have to make up here. Now, a mom's mind can be scary when we have to make up our own facts to fill in all of the gaps and all of the blank places. Don't do that to yourself. Just get as much information as you can from them. Ask open-ended questions and be prepared to listen. Tip number 2, I think it's important to remember that we are raising adults. Yes, they are children now, but soon they will be adults. And we want to make sure that we're always keeping in the back of our mind who we want them to be as adults. What are those things that are most important that you teach them before they leave the house? And it might be things like doing their laundry or how to cook, or it could be things, and it should be things, like how to have self-control, how to communicate properly, how to move through hard things that come up in life, because hard things are going to come up in life. And if they don't have that skill, how are they going to survive out there? So I think it's important that we always kind of look at things through that lens and to always just be thinking about what implications the way that we talk to them, the way that we treat them, and what that could have for them in the future. Because after all, we were all their age once too. And so, we became adults and we know what it was like to kind of go through that transition period of time. So the more we can help guide them, the better it can be for them to be able to learn those lessons, have that support and everything that they need to become a high-functioning adult. And the last tip that I have for you is my absolute favorite, and that is to keep some traditions from when they were little alive. Now, just because they're getting older does not mean that everything has to go out the window. To give you an example, I still tuck my kids into bed at night. Unless they're going to stay up later than I want to on the weekends, then they will come in and tuck me in. But we still have our nighttime rituals that we do together. They might be different than they were when they were 4 and 8, but they're still there where we are able to connect and pray for each other and just be able to tell each other that we love each other. The other tradition that I will never stop doing is making my kids pancakes on a Saturday morning. Now, obviously, I can't do it every single Saturday morning, and even when they were little, I didn't do it every single Saturday morning. But on an occasion, usually 1 or 2 Saturdays a month, I will make them pancakes. Now, they are fully able and capable of making pancakes for themselves, but it's just something nice I like to be able to do for them. Sometimes I'll pack their lunches for school, even though, for the most part, they do that on their own. Sometimes it's nice just to be mom and to do those things that show how much you love them and keep some of those traditions alive, because those are the traditions that they will carry forward into their own families when they're all grown up. Now, if you have younger kids, I hope that these tips kind of help you to think about the upcoming transitions in the years to come. And if you have already gone through some of those transitions, I would love to hear from you in our Facebook community on what you have done to better bond with your older kids. And I hope that these tips just bless you and help to inspire you to be more intentional, to be the mom that you truly want to be for your kiddos. Now, we still have one more episode in this series, and then we will be getting ready to kick off the second 90-day sprint for 2020. And then our next series after that will be all about helping you in your career. So I hope you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of that. And if you want to take part in some of the workshops and some of the other things that we have coming up in March and April, now is a great time to join Life Balance Membership. You can do so by going to lifebalancemembership.com or clicking the link below in the show description. So until next week, keep building a life that rocks. Bye. Hey, just because the episode's over doesn't mean we have to stop hanging out. Head on over to Instagram and follow me there. You can find me at your.life.rocks. Or if you're more of a Facebook kind of girl, join our community of working Christian moms just like you. You can search Your Life Rocks over on Facebook and connect with us there. And if you're ready to truly create lasting balance and get results in your life, maybe it's time for you to join Life Balance Membership. Download the Your Life Rocks app in iTunes or in Google Play. You can upgrade to the membership right inside the app. And if you're looking for more resources to help you create more balance, head on over to yourliferocks.com.